Hello everyone. Welcome to your restorative practice. My name is Tessa. We are going to utilize, as usual, a plethora of props, and one of them being a chair or a stool or your bed or your edge of your couch, something that you can elevate your forearms on, and at some point I'll invite you to elevate your legs on. The other thing that I want you to have is some padding for the knees, because our first shape, we're going to have our knees, one of the knees anyways, on the mat. So a little extra padding for that. And then of course, anything else you want to grab it. So we're going to work today on opening quadriceps, front of thighs, hip flexors. And when we open the front body in this way, there's naturally some compression that happens in the back body. Since we spend the majority of our time compressing front body, opening back body, that can tend to feel just maybe a little bit sometimes jarring, sometimes uncomfortable. And for most of us, because we sit so much, this back body area tends to be a little bit weak and tight. So just being mindful of your body, its limitations, its abilities, backing out when you need to, adding extra props when you need to, remembering that this is a restorative practice. And that's why we use all of these props, so that your body has to do less work and you can find more relaxation in the shapes. That's the goal. We save our strength building, agility, mobility work for our vinyasa practice or other activities you might do. So go ahead, if you're already on your mat, you can just place your knees on your blanket, and then you're going to have your chair, your stool, your couch, whatever it is in front of you, and then bring one leg forward. And so as you bring that one leg forward, I have my foot pretty wide. It's like to the outer edge of my mat. And the inner edge of, if you're using a chair, this is easier to do, is on the inside of my ankle. If you're using a couch, don't worry about it so much. And then, so what I want you to think about here is that back leg lengthening out. So curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, wiggle the foot back till you start to feel that stretch sensation on the hip flexor, front of the thigh, and then set the knee back down so you're more towards the top of the knee joint, not the middle meniscus and patella, the center of the knee joint. And then you can go ahead, bring your forearms, your hands forward. You don't have to come down to the forearms. You can stay up on your hands, and we'll kind of lean into this. And leaning in, it can look different for each of us. You're just looking for a little bit of sensation across the front of the thigh that's extended back behind you. Okay, and so we'll be here for about, I'll say about 3 minutes. You might notice as you start to sink into the shape, as you start to relax, that the body naturally drops in a little bit deeper without force. So being patient with that, knowing that your body will open up when it's ready to. You don't need to force it. Do your best to relax your shoulders, soften your jaw, relax your neck, soften your throat. Start to become aware of your breath if you're not already paying attention to the inhale and the exhale. And there's so many different techniques to train the mind to focus on the breath. If you've practiced with me regularly over the past couple of years, you know some of these. And just as a reminder, they're simple things like counting your inhale and your exhale. So for example, inhale is 1, exhale is 2, inhale is 3, exhale is 4. You continue counting your breath up until you reach the number 10. And then you simply start over again at 1. Even if you never reach 10, you're just training the mind to start to focus in on the breath. Take one more inhale here. Big long exhale. You're down on your forearms, start to walk back up to your hands. You can move your hips back over the back knee. And then front foot comes back in line with back foot. And if you want, just take a moment to kind of sit back on the heels, rest your hands on your thighs, close the eyes, deep breath in, deep breath out. Second side, we'll stand up on the knees, and then if you need to do any shifting of your props that are in front of you, go ahead to make space for that second foot to come forward. And then as that foot comes forward, we're going to curl the back toes under, lift up the back knee, wiggle that foot back so you have a nice long back leg. And right away, you can probably already feel that stretch sensation across the top of the thigh and hip flexor. Once that's there, start to set that knee back down in that lengthened position. And then you can start to lean the weight forward a little bit into hands, into maybe elbows or forearms if you're coming forward and down. Again, we're not forcing anything that the body is not ready for. We're just taking it really patiently, one step at a time, waiting for the body to give us signals that it's ready to go further. And the invitation here, as you settle into stillness, is to pay attention to the breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose if you can. And do your best to relax your shoulders. Soften your jaw. The neck and the throat, everything relaxes in the upper body. As you focus your attention and your awareness on the inhale and the exhale. If you haven't done so yet, you could even start to count the breath. Inhale is 1. Exhale is 2. Inhale is 3. Exhale is 4. Keep counting up until you arrive at 10. If you lose track of your counting, when you notice that, just again, starting over at 1. I'll take one more breath here, inhaling, exhaling. And then if you're down on your forearms, move your way back up to your hands. And shift your weight back. And then bring that front leg forward, back in line. You can take a moment here to sit back on the heels if that's comfortable. If it's not comfortable to sit on the heels, you can sit on top of your prop that you were just leaning forward on. We're just going to take a few cleansing breaths here, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. So for the remainder of our class, we're going to be moving in shapes from our back body, from kind of like a single point of origin. And so you're going to need to keep that chair or whatever prop that you were leaning forward on kind of close, because I'll give you an invitation to use that towards the end of the practice. But do make sure that you can stretch your legs forward straight with that prop close by. And then the second thing you're going to need is, I usually like to use blocks for this, but today I want something a little bit softer, so maybe a couch cushion or stack of blankets. So you can choose your prop based on what kind of feedback you want. Blocks, if you have it, are going to be more sensational probably, and then folded blankets or couch cushions are going to be a little bit more forgiving. We come to our back, bending the knees and planting the feet. Rest your head on the mat. Plant your feet about hip width distance apart. Just take a few breaths here, settling onto your back body. Maybe even close the eyes. Okay, so whichever prop you're choosing to use, we're going to take that and slide it right underneath the sacrum, right below the low back, and right above the glute muscles. So for those of you that are using a couch cushion like I am, that's probably going to span a little bit of the glutes and a little bit of the low back too. But the point, the width of the tailbone, the sacrococcygeal, the very tip of the tailbone, that's where I want most of my weight resting on the lift of the prop. So kind of adjust until you feel like that feels good. It feels like it's sustainable. I can hang out here for a bit. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to hang out here for a bit. Really gentle lift of the hips. Unless you're using a block, it might feel more sensational, like I said before. I like to take my hands on my lower rib cage when I'm in this position and just now follow the breath down into the belly and the rib. As I breathe in, I can feel it expand into the palms of my hands. And as I breathe out, I can feel everything soften to the back body. So sometimes it's nice to add a little bit of extra weight to the belly as it's a grounding technique. It's a technique that, if you've heard me talk about it before, taps the parasympathetic nervous system to turn on. That's your rest and digest. My cat is demonstrating how you could use some weight on the belly to do this. So you can always invite that in if it's something that you have around your space. In the absence of a cat, you can pile blankets on the belly. Now we're going to add on to this shape incrementally as it works for your body. So we'll take one leg and stretch it straight forward. The heel bone's going to rest on the mat or the floor. So now you're really lengthening out through that left side, hip flexor and quadricep. Right knee still bent, right foot still planted. We'll hang out here for about a minute. Invitation to close the eyes and follow the breath. Maybe even count the breath, just like you've been practicing. Okay, we're going to switch sides. So we'll rebend that left knee, plant the left foot, and then when you're ready, extend the right leg out long. Let the right heel rest. No effort in that right leg as it extends forward. Soften in here about a minute. All right, so here's the option for the next step. Option number one, you can extend that left leg long. So both legs are stretched out and you're just kind of rainbowing over that prop. Option number two, you can come back to that starting position, both knees bent and both feet planted. Either way, we're going to hang out here for the next couple of minutes. And what's true of oftentimes when you're working with imbalances in the body, the place that you're feeling sensation is often the place that is in need of attention. So like I mentioned, we are today kind of focusing on the front body, hip flexor opening, quadricep opening. But if you're feeling this mostly in the low back or glutes or somewhere along the back body, that's most likely where the body needs maybe more strengthening, maybe more mobility and agility, which we're not really going to address right here, right now. But it's just an indicator or a signal for you to pay attention to that. as you think about, where do I need to strengthen? Where do I need to balance my body going forward in my daily life? Once the back body starts to relax enough, then you'll start to feel maybe more sensation in the front body. So it's kind of like peeling away a layer of an onion. You start with the superficial, and then you peel it back step by step, nice and slow. Over time, you get to the core. There's really no rush here. Become aware of your breath. Each inhale, each exhale. And we're slowly going to back our way out of this one step at a time. If your legs are stretched forward in particular, take your time with that. Bend one knee, plant the foot, pause, breathe in, breathe out. And then second knee bends, foot plants, pause, breathe in, breathe out. And then if you still have that prop underneath the sacrum, press down into your feet, lift your hips up, move that prop out of the way. Sacrum settles back to the level of shoulders and feet. And then here we pause too. Breathe in, breathe out. So final shape, last option. I mentioned that you might want your chair or your prop close by. You can use that to drape your calves over, the backs of the legs over, so you're in a little bit of a gentle inversion, very restorative shape to take. You can also get close to a wall, take your legs up the wall. If you're happy where you are and you don't really want to move that much, you can just simply extend your legs forward and start to settle into Shavasana. Making your way into your final shape. Take about 4 minutes here. Once you're in that final shape, you're feeling comfortable. If you need to make any adjustments, do so, like wiggling the shoulders down the back, slightly tilting the chin in towards the chest, finding a comfortable position to rest your arms. And then deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Feel the weight of the back body release. Open, spacious awareness of the front body. This last minute of our practice, and again, invite you to become aware of the breath. And this time, beginning to count backward on the breath, starting at the number 10. To each exhalation, go backward one count. So next exhale would be 9. Next exhale, 8. Exhale, 7. Continuing to count backward on your breath until you arrive at 0. And the more the mind, the body, and the breath are established in a state of peace and freedom. Now let go of any counting, even if you didn't reach 0, even if you lost track, just let it go. Start to bring your awareness back to the body. You can begin to add gentle movement to fingertips and toes. If you have space above you, you can stretch your arms overhead. Breathe into the length of the body. And then on an exhale, bend your knees and start to make your way off to a side. Pressing into your hands, rising up just briefly into an upright seat, however it's comfortable to you. Hands, palms resting face down on tops of the thighs, shoulders moving back on top of the hips, ears on top of the shoulders. Breathe in, grow tall. Breathe out, settle. Take a moment to acknowledge how you feel in this moment right now. And the layers of feeling in terms of physical body, emotional body, energetic body. And finally, we join the hands together at the heart, bow the chin to the chest. With reverence and gratitude, we honor our practice. May we use the fruits of this practice to serve our highest good. May we share it with those around us that we love and who could use healing. And together we send love and healing to all sentient beings around the world that may be suffering. May they be happy. May they be free. Namaste, yogis. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed your practice. And please come back again soon. Take care of yourselves in the meantime.